We're dealing with the mainstream media shutting us down, with free speech being threatened in this whole climate change debate. But the problem in her thinking is that she's genuinely scared, I think, and so she's letting fear dictate her thoughts on the entire debate, and she's not keeping an open mind to our side.
Keean Bexte for Rebel News in Madrid, Spain. I'm right outside of the climate change, climate alarmist conference that's happening right behind me. We are not in the climate change conference right now because my interviewee, Naomi Seibt, is not actually allowed in. So rather than staying out here in the wind and the cold, the climate is changing every second, as you know. We're going to head into a coffee shop, and I'm going to speak with someone who has been making waves on the other side of the climate debate. She doesn't like being called the anti-greta, but it is probably the best way to describe her. Naomi comes from Germany. She's in Spain right now to take in this conference. So it's great to see you here today. We are in Madrid, Spain at the climate change conference that the United Nations is hosting. We're inside right now because the climate is changing so fast outside right now that it's windy and cold and rainy. So we took refuge in a coffee shop because they wouldn't let you actually into the conference. You've been labeled the anti-greta, and I take it, I hear that you don't like that name exactly. What makes people call you the anti-greta?
The reason I don't like the term anti-greta is because it suggests that I myself am an indoctrinated puppet, I guess, for the other side, that is just the blonde girl that is the opposite of Greta, that is basically just an instrument to promote a narrative, which is not what I want to do. I want to promote science and free speech and free thinking over being hysterical about the climate. So that's the message that I want to get out. And yeah.
So you don't call yourself a climate denier, you don't call the other side climate alarmists. You were telling me just earlier that you prefer the term climate realist. What does that mean?
Yeah, because the other side, they call us the climate deniers, and I hate that term, absolutely, especially as a German. It is so rude to refer to someone as a climate denier, because obviously there is a connection to the term Holocaust denier, which carries a lot of weight in Germany. And I don't want to do the same to the other side. I want them to realize that we are the climate realists. We want to talk facts and science, and we don't want to denounce other people. We don't want to shut down free speech. That's quite the opposite of what we want to do.
When we see footage of Greta walking through this conference and how the media treat her, they're following her around like she's some popular high school student, and they're her entourage. How do you get treated by the media differently than Greta does?
Oh, actually in Germany, there was a team from the mainstream media who wanted to denounce me as an anti-Semite. And of course I'm being labeled climate change denier, left and right. So yeah, I'm not being treated very nicely by the mainstream media.
So what is the fault in Greta's thinking? I know that's a big question because Greta talks about a lot of stuff. She talks about people dying. She talks about the global temperatures rising, about ice caps melting. In general, if you could encapsulate what the problem is in her thinking, what is it?
She's stuck in a bubble. She only sees what's around her. And of course, because she's being sheltered by the media, by her parents, and on some level I get her, I understand her, and I don't want to say that she's a brat or that she's she's way too privileged to understand that the struggle that the protesters on the other side are going through. On our side, we're dealing with the mainstream media shutting us down, with free speech being threatened in this whole climate change debate. But the problem in her thinking is that she's genuinely scared, I think, and so she's letting fear dictate her thoughts on the entire debate, and she's not keeping an open mind to our side. And so truly what I suggest is to everybody listening is just keep an open mind, stay open to the science, even if you think that it's completely ridiculous. And those people are just conspiracy theorists on the other side, and they're just climate change deniers, and they want to ruin the planet. Perhaps not. Perhaps we're not evil.
Thanks for watching our coverage here in Madrid, Spain. Please go to rebelun.com to see everything that we've been doing while we've been at this climate change conference. If you want to pitch in to our coverage, please do go to rebelun.com.